This is just a short video to tell you why you should never drop your remote for your eFoil. Specifically regarding the foil remote for GetFOIL.com or Foil Inc. It applies to any eFoil remote, such as the waiter remote as well. But again, I'm focusing on the foil remote because some owners have reported that they have lost their remote. This remote does not float by itself. And the lanyard has broken for some of the owners of their foil remotes. And one of the reasons that the lanyard is breaking is not only is it fairly thin, but also the shell on the top and the bottom where they meet has created a bit of a scissor action there. So if that thin string happens to go into the clasp between the two shells, it could snag and catch and pull and cut the string. That's not the only reason you don't want to drop your remote. Regardless of how strong the lanyard is, you don't want to drop your remote because the remote could potentially hit you and or your board, causing damage or injury to you or your board and or your remote as well. The warranty does not cover a lost, drowned remote at the bottom of the lake or sea, and it is also not going to cover any damage from neglect of your remote smashing into something like your board. So when you fall, you want to only release the trigger. You only want to release the trigger. You want to keep a firm grasp on the handle. There's probably some rare circumstances where you might want to let go. I can't really think of one right now. Just do realize that if you make any modification to your remote, as I have done, this will not break away if your controller were ever to get snagged on something. I don't know what it would get snagged on something, but you no longer have a safety breakaway point. So do keep that in mind if you modify your remote with a stronger lanyard. So looking in this hole, it looks like it's a very large hole, but behind that post, that green post there that the string's wrapping around, there's not much room. So if you buy a camera lanyard, as I have done from Amazon, I'll put a link in the video description, a paracord will not go behind that post. And so I used 2 strands of this pink nylon string, and then I wrapped my paracord handle through that. I personally have never dropped a remote in 2 years of eFoiling. I've never dropped my waiter remote. I've never dropped my foil remote. And with that said, I put this handle on here because though I trust myself to never drop the remote, I'm not sure if I can trust one of my friends or family members from dropping the remote. And so I've put this extra lanyard on here for security and for peace of mind from when my friends and family are using their remote. So once again, don't drop the remote during a fall, because during a fall you're going to be traveling faster and the forces of the remote twisting and pulling, flopping through the water, it's not going to be fun for the remote, the lanyard, your face, the board, any of those things.